made their way through. What they need is a consistent season all lower A along. Let's find out what we're getting with the bans coming in. Elsu, if you've been looking forward to seeing some Elsu action and you didn't join us yesterday, I've got news for you.
Bad news.
You've already seen your Elsu action as he flies up to the top corner, because that's pretty much where he lives.
Yeah, Elsu, a pretty consistent ban. Also, joining him in that consistent ban, expect to see more Telenas.
Yep.
The side lane ADC meta, everyone's kind of aware that that's a thing, so we're not going to see so many ranged characters that can be played well there.
And what happens when you ban out the ADCs is you allow characters, well, not in this case like Richter to get through, but I think as we go forward, we'll see characters like Morin and Wisp get banned, and that will open up more heroes.
Pretty standard ban, though. It's mostly just the powerful characters that are removed, no obvious targets. That means a net gets through as the first pick.
Exactly, and Annette has emerged as one of the top supports as well, though there is a bigger pool of them because of those new support items that we talked a lot about yesterday.
Someone we had a lot of questions about, this Valheim coming out. We've been very critical of his sideline role.
You know how I'm really low on Slims? I think I've dropped Valheim to that level. I really don't like the Valheim in the side lane. He doesn't really qualify as an ADC, someone who can carry your team with that damage. I think if you pick the Valheim, you put him in the DS lane, and then you pick another ADC to put in the Abyssal lane. That's what I feel about him right now.
Team Queso will answer a double jungle, potentially. Wonder Woman and Violet. We'll see the Wonder Woman or the Violet in jungle and side lane, respectively. Opposing them, you had a Raz in mid lane, the Irie coming through for side, and the Rourke for jungle.
Ooh, Tulin potentially coming out for Ruiz. By the way, Ruiz is the #1 conqueror in EU right now on the ladder. That is something that he's very proud of. He's been for multiple seasons, actually, so something to look forward to with his Tulin coming out.
Tulin versus Raz in the mid lane. Do you give an edge to the Tulin?
Lately, I do, actually, because Tulin has been so good, and that's surprising coming from me, because I usually love the Raz, I hate the Tulin, but he's been very good as of late with that recent buff.
Are we expecting support coming in here for Existence?
It will be this Chognar, which is interesting to me because we haven't seen a lot of Chognar as of late. He's very, very good to cancel out stuns, to cancel out CC. That's, of course, what his ultimate and his passive do.
Where are the stuns?
But I don't see, like you were saying, it's only really the Annette. I guess the bracelets, actually, from the Wonder Woman. There's two there that stand out.
Right, but those are normal stuns. They're not like, you know, a Dark Dominion from Amina, for instance. It's not something crazy where it will destroy your entire team. I gotta say, I don't really like the Chognar pick here.
The advantage of Chognar for me is how aggressively he can push forward.
Right.
You can ignore entire teams worth of defensive stuns if you get tanky towards the late game. He's very good at clearing wave, pressing very far forward in the face of enemies, because you can just kind of ignore a lot.
That also sounds a lot like Toro.
And you love some Toro, I know.
Are you proposing that we see a Toro in the Valor Series?
If you're gonna pick Chognar, you might as well.
Are you saying that Toro is as
you could have
useful?
just picked Toro?
Well, the thing is, you could just scout, you can ignore damage like you just mentioned, and the problem is if you just ignore the Chognar / Toro, you can get to the backline and it's no big deal.
But I know a pretty good and fairly well-established, reasonably famous tier list.
Yeah.
Toro, languishing on there. Where's Chognar on there?
Chognar, I actually dropped him pretty far. He's at the bottom of tier 2, kind of teetering on the edge.
Yeah.
If we could, every time D2 gets a lower third from now on, it reads D, Chognar is as bad as Toro, 2 HS. That's perfect.
No, it's AOV now. I changed it.
I don't even know.
Yeah, to be honest, the performance of Chognar and Toro in HS is even worse than it is in Arena and Valor. So we'll go into game. Remember, it's best of 2s and every match is going to count, but we've seen a few first games be a little bit patchy and a little bit experimental. What do we get? Queso and Existence, our first game of day 2.
The long-standing Spanish rivalry, and both these teams have retooled a bit. Existence in terms of getting that experience coming into this season looking fresh. Team Queso in terms of 2 new player additions.
Well, we just saw right off the bat the plus side of Chognar. He can get in there, has extreme range as a support with that energy surge. But taking a bit of damage here from Ruiz and Memorize. He does shrug that off. He can just kind of get in there and get out. Kind of annoying in that regard. But like I mentioned, can't really protect his team.
Let's talk about this top lane a bit. You are seeing it right now. Clemare is struggling to deal with Yavex, pushing very far forward on the Zenial. Irie into Zenial favors the Irie ostensibly, right?
Right, on the surface, like you mentioned, that should be something that Irie takes. In the early game, though, neither has a really good early game, so that's kind of surprising that Yavex was able to get in there and deal that damage.
The advantage of the Zenial is that they can Angelic Splendor across the map, but that's quite a long cast time, and the Irie has both the mobility and the stuns to interrupt it.
Right, IRB just, well, yeah, you can stun him. She just gets along the map the old-fashioned way, which is, I guess, dashing is old-fashioned.
Yeah, shadowing. Old-fashioned.
Yeah, exactly.
And because there's the mobility the old-fashioned way, but still Irie's quite a fast character, you, I think, do have equivalent power because the Irie can stop Yarvex from using Angelic Splendor, and Clemaris, by contrast, doesn't have quite the same back pressure.
Right, we have potential engage here as Iwachichi comes in, but nope, warded off. Look, if you really want to see Irie take advantage, you have to see her do what she's doing right now, which is cutting this wave, because once you do this, it puts extreme pressure on the Xenial to clear that wave and then go over, and now Irie can get there first.
I would like to talk about the opposite side of the map as well, the Dragon Lane, because we were kind of saying that you could play Wonder Woman there or Violet. It will be the Violet being played in side lane. That's the first time we've seen this in Valor Series.
I like the Violet in the side lane. I know she's traditionally been a jungle hero, at least as of the past year, but I think that you get so much more if you do that in the side lane, as Bamboo does miss on that power surge.
A little bit risky. Almost stole it away from Ibuchichi, but does walk away with the Ruiz in the mid lane. Also gets a taste of Bamboo.
Yeah, Bamboo and Ruiz is a big matchup because they are both really heavy carries for their team. So whoever wins that could end up winning it for their team.
And
Hello?
I'm not really sure why Bamboo keeps getting these 1v1s. Here's the Abyssal Dragon under threat. x6tence will have Bamboo nearby, but Simjo grabs it. There's your answer. Bamboo keeps getting those 1v1s because the rest of Team Queso are focused elsewhere.
And Clemaris and Blue Triton just in there. Good job by Yawix, leashing it out, but not going to be successful. At least not what it looks like. It goes to Clemaris in the end, so good steal. However, Team Queso a little bit mad.
Yeah, very aggressive push into the enemy jungle. They do x6tence get a little bit back, but that's not enough to undercut the dragon that was taken away. They still have the gold lead, though, because they've been doing that the whole time. Right,
about as even as you can possibly be after all that, because of the steal, because of the dragon. Looks like we're in a reasonable spot. Both teams just kind of jabbing at each other. No real heavy blows.
How do you feel about these builds? Is anything standing out to you?
Well, the enchanted kicks coming out from Raz, Bamboo, trying to go a ton of damage there. So very, very confident in his positioning. Knows he won't get stunned out. Knows he has the chickens there and the Chognar if things go awry. So now he can just deal even more damage.
We've talked up Ruiz quite a bit as the #1 conqueror on the ladder. You love that stat because it shows his experience in game. This is actually one of the most exciting mid matchups in EU because both these players, Bamboo and Ruiz, I think have very similar histories in terms of competitive play, and they play at a similar level.
Right, and both playing aggressive mages, but engage here.
Ruiz poking forward to demonstrate that history on aggressive mages, but no real success from it.
And both teams trying to make something happen, but Bamboo from the back.
Waiting, trying to find an opening. There's Ibuchichi carried into the rest of his team and deleted. Memorize goes through with the Hurricane Wall and Triton is knocked very low. Simjo has revenge. Now Angelic Splendor is there, and this is something devastating for x6tence. A flicker forward and a double kill to Simjo.
Great move by Bamboo, but the revenge comes in from Team Queso saying, you don't take out one of ours without some of yours going down. Ruiz wants more. Oh no.
Well, he did get more, but will go down to the tower. It's a worthwhile trade, though, because it's a tower and a kill for only one given back.
Right, worth it in the end. Does feel bad, though, because you felt like you thoroughly outplayed them, and you only kind of outplayed them.
So, some classic EU AoV. Very, very slow to start things off, but Team Queso already feels leveraging a bit of an advantage.
Yeah, both teams trying to look for some way into the opponent's side and trying to get that advantage like you mentioned. And Bamboo, the one starting the fireworks, and unfortunately it ended in a favor for Team Queso in the end. But I'm liking some of this aggression here.
Yeah, I like Bamboo with that move to carry forth the player record into the rest of the team.
You know what would have been nice to continue that carry would have been to have a support who could also CC, maybe stun chain him.
The lack of stuns from the Chognar not making up for his denial of stuns.
Exactly. I'm sorry, I'm going to harp on it this entire game if that's okay with you.
Because others, and I talk about this as indirect versus direct supports. That's the language I use. An indirect support is like Grak, because he can land the hook, he can always pull people in, he can always affect the game. A direct support like Chognar literally needs to just take the damage with his body.
Yeah, just just stands there in front and says, give it to me, I can take it. but not working out too well in this game. That is a nice energy surge, but not enough damage quite yet.
He'll go for the wave clear with the Chaos Protection. That's the power of Jognar, and it will guarantee that this tower stands. The Abyssal in the meantime, kited and reset by Bamboo. Team Queso dare go for it?
I think they will, because x6tence is out of the picture right now.
Half HP on it, and they will absolutely go for it. Roids and Bamboo are nearby. They could make an effort for it. There'll at least be a power surge, and it's dangerous, but Ruiz does get the Abyssal.
Yeah, pretty risky there, because that shows that the punish was not on time if Ruiz had the final hit there. And you can't really use the... he didn't use Thunderbird on it, which means that he didn't really take it down with a heavy attack there. It could have been stolen, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, Ibuchichi not using his punish talent in order to secure it, and that is not ideal. That's just inefficient farm.
Oh, Ibuchichi, hello.
x6tence's not the target he wants, and that's why he can ignore much of the damage, but I don't think he can take this or keep this tower safe from Simjo. That's the power of the Violet.
Yeah, he saw the good parts and the bad parts about Chognar right there. You can't really kill him, but he also doesn't do anything to help.
And because of that, now it's Team Queso getting another tower, just again leveraging this Violet from jungle very well, or from sideline rather, very well.
Exactly. This is why I love Violet in the sideline, because of the fact you can farm her so much, and now you see it paying off 5,200 gold in the bank.
Yeah, Club Sancti rushed pretty early on. How's this jungle Violet, or sorry, sideline Violet build going to differ from the jungle if he stays alive? He won't. He'll have to consider that build from the death timer as a kill comes through. Memorize chased back by x6tence as well. x6tence have finally had enough being bullied, and they want to claim more as Yavex is chased all the way back by a power surge. There will be a full fight for this tower. Bamboo deep underneath the hurricane walls there. This tower looks to be held as Memorize lands a great hurricane wall.
I thought they had to get out of there. I thought they had to leave the tower, but here comes the second wave.
A second chance, and it will be Memorized to fall alongside the tower. Ruby's on the flank, has Thunderbird onto Bamboo, but he can't get the kills. They will still lose Yavex, though. x6tence strike back.
That was a big blunder, I think, from Team Queso. They just had to give up the tower. There were 4 members there. You can get something done on the rest of the map. You don't need to hold onto that tower, especially because it was lower than half health. I think Team Queso needs to play smarter than that.
What can x6tence do to keep this going?
Well, if they can force Team Queso to try to defend their towers outnumbered, other than that, just keep playing aggressive, keep trying to get that kill lead.
One of the ways to do that would be the Spissel, and they've got the rotate on it, but Ibuchichi's presence makes that difficult.
I want to point something out really interesting in the Simjo build. He went for Astral Spear. He didn't build it into any of the other items like Rank Breaker or Murmasa. He's saving that for later, just wants the Pierce now. As a pro move, you go for the tier 2 item.
Ibuchichi in trouble. We'll have to see if Simjo can bring it to bear in this fight as he's kiting back. Ibuchichi on the front line. Abyssal did go to Team Queso. Yavex can't even get in thanks to the stuns from Roids, and it will just be an Abyssal, no contest.
Yeah, at this point, the Abyssal Dragon isn't quite as important. In fact, we're getting towards the Enraged Abyssal Dragon, so that's what both teams will be keeping their eyes on as we move forward, and neither team has really any gold lead at all whatsoever.
A very close game heading into the 10-minute mark.
The thing I want to look at, though, is the Violet with that massive gold advantage over everyone else. That's going to be doing so much damage.
I'm looking at it right now, Daniel. Blue tries to knock down to half HP on an instant fight, and Ruiz is there on the flank. Blue Triton's gone, and a huge portion of x6tence's damage is gone with him.
That is beautiful. The poke coming up from Sinjo and the finish from Ruiz.
That kind of flank and map coordination is what makes Team Queso so much fun to watch, especially when they get their stun cycles going. It is beautiful.
And I love them taking advantage and going straight over to the Darkslayer to get that Dark Slayer buff and start pushing down these towers. They've done a great job with the towers as well. Look, only 6 remaining. They only need to push evenly amongst the remaining 6 towers and start pushing onto those high ground towers potentially.
And it will be that Dark Slayer going their way. They'll see if they can curry that forward into, maybe it looks like an Abyssal here.
Yeah, they can use the healing buff here to try to go for it. I think they're more concerned with x6tence stealing that from them so that their advantage doesn't go to waste.
Why did Ibuchichi just recall?
He
was
for this reason.
Oh,
he wanted to
Drake.
release the Drake. For those of you who don't know, the minions actually get buffed with the Drake, so you want it on the field as long as possible.
So he recalled, even though he was at full HP, I was very perplexed by that, but he goes back to the base so he can summon the Drake there, and that means the minions, the buff to the minions stays up for as long as possible because the Drake will stay alive. Oh, Simjo, that's so good! He stays alive through it all, thanks to the lifesteal and the Angelic Splendor.
So beautiful from their team, and exactly with the bow of slaughter that you're pointing out at my face, that is the reason why he was able to stay in there.
Beautifully done on the timing. Simjo can basically win any 1v1, and Bamboo learned that the hard way.
Royce, Chickens, gotta stay out of there. Tactical fire will take you out.
Ruiz in mid gets chased back as well. The tower down bottom will fall. Team Queso approach the high ground, and they're just melting them. It will be Ibuchichi in the front lines. I don't think Chicketing can clear away, but he'll give it his best shot. Simjo should take the tower. The wave is gone, but so is the tower.
Don't need wave to take down this tower, says Simjo as they're pushing on the mid.
Another tower gone, another high ground exposed. Team Queso, have they just won the game?
It sure seems like it. They're getting such an advantage here. Even if they don't finish the game right now, they can turn around and get the Abyssal.
And they've got the pressure continuing. The Drake does finally approach the towers.
Look at Simjo, just doing so much damage. Chicken does that half health.
There's nothing they can do.
Goodbye.
Simjo's just hovering behind this tanky front line of Yavex, and he's just shredding their towers. It's a second high ground gone. Ruiz will back off as the rest of the team presses forward into him. But that is the only backing up they're doing, because now the focus comes through for the final high ground. They must hold this, and Blue Tritons chase back. He spends the ult, but it's for nothing. All 5 members still standing. Bamboo's deleted. Roids is gone. There's no one left for Team Queso as they clean up the base. And it will be game number 1 over to Team Queso in 12 minutes.
A close early game turns into a landslide as Queso snowball this to victory. They take advantage of the first sight they get and roll that Darkslayer in.